For this stocking, I used Lori Whitlock cut file, which I will include below. You could easily use a different file or hand cut your own using what you see on the screen as a guideline. It wouldn't be hard to just make a stocking of the approximate measurements, double it up, and then add your 3-inch pieces in between to add to the width of the stocking. My stockings measure about 6.5 by 6 inches wide, and of course 3 inches in width. There's going to be a little extra overhang to attach your side pieces, as you can see. Now, the Lori Whitlock cut file is not this wide when you buy it. I actually had to modify the cut file and just add an additional width to it. This, of course, when I altered the file in Design Space, made the tabs a little bit bigger. You could easily cut those off, but I left them on there because it made it a little easier to attach the whole thing. Now, as you can see, I'm just gluing the designer paper to the 110-pound cardstock. I used 110 pound for this. I thought 80 was going to be way too flimsy. The 110 really adds to the sturdiness. If you don't have any, you can double up the 80-pound cardstock and then put your designer paper on top of it, and it'll give it some additional sturdiness, but 110 pound is really good for this project. Of course, I'm smoothing out all the creases. I used last year's Christmas pad from Prima. It's called Country Christmas. It's really pretty. I actually did another loaded stocking a while ago, which I will add a link to the bottom in the description box, and I used Prima's Santa Baby collection for that one. So I wanted a little more traditional color to this one as I was creating it. I'm using art glitter glue to attach the Prima paper to the 110-pound cardstock. It's a good, fast drying liquid glue that doesn't wrinkle your paper. Take your time to really crease those tabs so you get a nice edge on your stocking. Before attaching the tabs, you're going to want to use your bone folder to give the paper a little bit of a curve and soften it up. I found it easiest to line up the top and start by gluing down the largest tab. As you work your way around the curve, just add glue to a couple of the tabs. Make sure that those are dried and then move on to the next. Now you're going to want to add glue to the large bottom tab and attach the bottom of the front stocking. Grab the longer of the two side pieces, and once again I started with the top tab and put my glue on that, got it braced for going around that large curve. This curve is a tricky part. Just take your time doing one tab at a time, really kind of softening that paper up so that it bends nicely. Add glue to the bottom portion and attach to the flat bottom part of the box. I used my bone folder to get in there with the pointed tip to really make sure that I had a nice clean edge. I started to add the back of the box by attaching glue to the bottom tab so I could attach it to the flat portion of the bottom of the box. I did end up using some designer paper cut into 2 3/4 inch strips to cover the sides of the box. This was not included in the original Lori Whitlock file, just because the file itself is only about 1.5 inches in width. Now when I come back, I'll show you the fully decorated stocking. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the project now that I've got it decorated. Once again, I just used the Country Christmas collection from Prima. I cut 2 3/4 inch strips to carry around the sides and bottom of the box stocking. The floral clusters are done with some of the flowers from the collection. I had some of these pink foam flowers gifted to me by Amy Vitriani, and these are some miniature pine cones from the collection. This is just stamped, a Christmas stamp that I had laying around on some of the paper from Prima. I did a bow on my Cricut with some of the cardstock. Once again, the floral clusters. I did a little dangle on the side here, as well as some lace trim that extends around into the back of the stocking as well. And then I did a little floral cluster here. Now, one of the tricks that I use when I'm putting together an SVG file, if there's spots that you don't really like, or you think you could do better, all's not lost. Throw a flower cluster in there, make it pretty. You don't have to start from scratch. There's ways to fix things. So for the swap, if you're participating in it, 3 rosettes are required. I did just 2 rosette embellishments. These all have to be layered. Try your best to do nice, be creative. A lot of times I will send plain rosettes to my swap partners for them to do, but this one, have it all decorated for them so they can just pop it on a project and be on their way. These are the rosettes that I created. Flowers from the collection. The snowflakes are die cuts. I believe these might be Tim Holtz snowflakes. And then this one has a small bow on it, just layered up really pretty. This 25 is from Tim Holtz as well, okay? And then the third one I made into a wand. That's your prerogative. I wanted to add a little something extra. I have these deer miniature ornaments. I got them at Walmart, I believe, last year. I can't really remember. but I just used that deer, and it already came with the wreath. I just added the red bow at the bottom and then glittered his antlers. There's a few different layers in the back, along with some eyelash trim, and then the base of it is actually a snowflake ornament that I might have gotten at Dollar Tree. And then of course I added like a nice dangle, and I love the bell because it reminds me of Christmas. Now, one of the other requirements that you have is a candy cane. Now, mine is an altered candy cane, just a candy cane, like one of the plastic ornaments, and I wrapped it with twine, added a fun little sprig here along with a ribbon bow, but you could also do some candy canes made from paper too. I'm still playing with that idea, so I will probably share some candy cane embellishments very soon. So I can't wait to see what everybody is creating for Christmas in July. If you're part of the Loaded Envelopes Galore and More Facebook group, head on over. I'd love to have you participate, and I'll see you in the next swap. Bye!